Hi, this is Mindy, and I'm from the group that discussed covenant. And it was interesting. We had different reactions to the significance of covenant, sometimes related to how long we've been a UU and how much it's a part of our just our day-to-day given in being in community. Um, we felt that the most dramatic covenant effort of our fellowship has been the small group ministry, and also the just the practice of showing up regularly and sharing gifts or time or talent or volunteering, from as small to as large a commitment as we are each able. um, Listening was mentioned quite often as part of covenant, and that covenant works best when we recognize that we're all on a path and we might not all be at the same point on the path. So covenant engenders tolerance and respect. And one member in our group found that this place felt more safe than almost any other organization that he's been a part of, that he could just be who he was and be accepted because of our covenant and our acceptance. And then it was also mentioned that the fact that our decision making targets consensus more than just a 51 to 49 decision is an example of covenant, that we want the greater good to be satisfied, that there not be just a sliver of a margin of win. And also that covenant means we're not playing to win or to be right, but that we are playing to make good decisions together. So that's what we've got.
Excellent, excellent. And another group?
Um, our group was love and compassion, but it's interesting because we kind of got started on talking about how is that manifested, and the idea of inclusion became the primary topic that we talked about. We talked about the challenges of attracting people that are not of the dominant paradigm to our culture, and how it just doesn't happen because they have their own cultural homes in their own religious communities that just feel so much more, you know, more homey to them. So we thought, well, what could we do? And one of the ideas that came up, and it was kind of a duh, for me at least, was here we've been on Zoom for all this time, and we haven't gone and visited by Zoom other religious services during their Zoom times. And a lot of them are at different times from our own. So, what an opportunity to see other religious. Yes, it's not quite as good as actually being there, but it's safe for them, it's safe for us, and we don't have to, spend all that time commuting and trying to go to places, even places that are far away. So ultimately, we came down to, well, what if we were able to identify a champion who would want to kind of make that more real, and that they were able to come up with a delegation or multiple delegations of people who might visit other churches, probably virtually for this period of time, and find out what they're like and bring that back to us. And, like I was saying, for me, just seeing all the funerals of Black folks who have happened in the last couple of years has given me an insight to the way that they worship, that's so different from the way that we do. And it really made me appreciate it. So we came up with an action that, was not like explicitly love and compassion, but hopefully creates love and compassion. So there's one idea.
Great. And
Very good.
let's see.
I'll follow that.
if that's possible, because what you were just speaking of, Joy, really does resonate with the universal inclusiveness value. And among the group, my group, this resonated with everyone personally very well. One person said that it is really this value that differentiates us from so many others, and this is why she is here in this congregation. So some of the things that we've noted that we are already practicing inclusiveness is through our greeters. Of course, when we're in person, we have greeters stationed at the front door, and they're not only welcoming returning members and friends, but also being able to recognize and approach those that we don't yet know and have a first point of contact with them there. The second point of contact on a given Sunday is, Russ, your introduction, your welcome statement. One member in our group said that the length that you go to name who is welcomed in this community is very affirming. It is an important signature of our intent to be inclusive. I love that. It is a signature of ours. And I love that we hold that up every Sunday. So I agree. Thank you, Russ, for doing that. And of course, after Sunday service, we have the welcome table that is often staffed for visitors to come and learn a little bit more about us. And once a month, we also have the new visitor, I can't remember how we call it, but an opportunity for others to dig more deeply into what is UUism. I think we were, so I think the challenge, we are faced with challenges because we do recognize that we don't know necessarily what those differences are when they come to us, unless there's a physically obvious difference between the general norm of the group. It's hard to know what those differences are, and so hard to know how to approach someone. And those are behaviors then that I think we're all trying to figure out how to practice approaching someone that may look similar to us, but still may be very different in other ways. So we don't have yet the tools in our toolkit to be able to know exactly how to approach someone. I think we also all agreed that there is this interesting balance between exuberantly welcoming someone and then not doing any welcoming, because we'll just let them get to know each other, get to know us, and they'll reveal themselves. So it's this funny balance between like, hey, you are so welcomed here, and then others, and then not doing that so you don't overwhelm them. So where's that happy middle ground? And then there's the question of, we do still have a white privileged approach to most of our work, and as Joy was discussing, that it comes out of a history of that common legacy in a white Christian culture. So how do we begin to understand and incorporate other perspectives? So that's an ongoing challenge, and I appreciated everyone's thoughts and contributions. Thank you, folks.
Wow, powerful stuff.
I can jump in and share for Justice in Action, and then maybe Jeff, you might want to contribute as well. We had a small group with Carol, Jeff, and then Russ for part of the time, and we talked about a few different things. One was just how it's challenging sometimes with Justice in Action to decide on where we put our effort, and there was some advocacy for having focus, really coming at kind of one issue or working together as a congregation on one issue, as opposed to individuals all working in their own important but direction. And then we also talked about, Jeff was concerned and continues to be concerned with existential issues, including climate change, but more specifically, we talked about nuclear weapons proliferation. And so just more opportunities for us to be aware, to share information with each other, and with our broader community. So I'll let Jeff fill in anything that I missed, and otherwise that's it for us.
All right. Let's see. We have transformation and curiosity and openness left.
Transformation was our group. We had a great discussion. Everything from we're constantly transforming and changing all the way to being, there was a discussion on whether it's stardust or black holes. And I think that it was confirmed that it's both or either. So we're always transforming. Our group talked about how transformation is definitely a core value of Unitarian Universalism. It's something that's at the core and at the heart of the religious tradition. That's why a lot of people were drawn to the Unitarian Fellowship. And someone else pointed out that other religious traditions she's seen have also transformed, but not always in positive ways. There was a discussion of whether transformation is reactive only or proactive, and how Unitarian Universalism and also our lives are constantly evolving, constantly changed. We aren't stuck in dogma. We're action oriented. We're able to change our perspectives when we have new information. And other people talked about personal transformations, which have really enlightened them into what's important and who's important in their lives. And a couple of examples of transformation in the fellowship, people talked about the anti-racism work we've been doing the last year. The land acknowledgement is a transformation in the fellowship. And there's willingness to change when something is pointed out that there's a deficit and we need to work on. That's it.
Wow.
Well, the last value was curiosity and openness. The initial discussion really focused on being open to visitors and newcomers, and how the sense was that this fellowship was very welcoming. One person pointed out in their opinion that it's a size thing, that smaller congregations in this person's experience are more open, more welcoming. The kitchen ministry is a wonderful openness to the visitor and the newcomer as a way to make them feel at home, and it's really important to reach out to newcomers and notice them. And this there was some sense that we can continue to improve this. Of course, COVID has added its own restrictions. One person felt that this was so self-evident, it was of course we're open and curious. But we talked a little bit further. Another person observed that in their opinion, curiosity is essential or you die. Being curious means caring. Someone talked about that this is actually a form of caring, because it means you're more open yourself and you show your care. You show a kind of vulnerability. Openness is honoring someone, turning your attention to them. We talked about curiosity as a mindset, like a child starts out curious, and so often in our culture that gets, that kind of curiosity can get tamped down, which it comes back for me that it's actually a discipline to remain curious. And that you can't always count on the fact that people remain curious, because in fact, shutting down and saying, no, this is what I believe, is actually comforting. You don't have to work. And we talked about how hard work it is to remain open and curious, because you have to constantly be processing new information and making decisions. So it's actually not an easy value. And one thing that I was observed is we talked a lot about openness to the visitor, openness of your own mind, but also the unique openness of Unitarian Universalism as an institution. There's no, you need to pass this test before you can come in, or you need to agree to this rule before you come in. It's a very open door, and it's an institutional openness and inclusivity. So one thing that I observed in these reports, which have been fascinating, there's a lot of cross resonance between all these values, and I came up with, it's really an interdependent web of values. They all complement each other, and you end up talking about the same expressions in a way.
No, and I'll highlight that too, is that hopefully you've all seen this interconnectedness of values. These things don't stand alone. You know, you can't just choose one without incorporating some aspect of another. So, wow, what a great discussion. This has been very rewarding for me to hear, and hopefully rewarding to you to get into deeper discussions. I do still believe that the stated values can be very unifying and very provide a cohesive glue that keeps us going together beyond our principles and purposes and beyond our mission and beyond our vision, just to hold those things up so that we can perpetuate them. So, ideally, the congregation would vote to approve our values. We're not proposing to do that today. Today was just an open discussion about it. So just from there's almost 30 of us here. Just by your thumb, do you, this isn't a binding vote, do you support these values? Would be an up thumb. You want more work, more study about it, would be this way. And we're way, way off, would be down. So just, yeah. Okay. All
How
right.
about 11 o'clock? There's always still opportunity to improve.
I'll try and be inclusive with your comment. And yes, there's always more discussion, John, always more. So, thank you all. So, Anne, I think Sarah's dropped off, but Anne, did you have any closing words or anything? Thank you all for hanging in there, for making this fellowship part of your life. And it is, in the best sense, a symbiotic relationship where we benefit from each other. You benefit from us, and we benefit from you being here. And I look forward to continuing to being with you for a long, long time. So please enjoy your day. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for your support and for who you are. Blessings to you all and to all your pets and animals. So,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye.